Wonderful. Thank you all so much for joining me for a 60-minute restorative yoga class. This class is all about rest and relaxation, and you will want a couple pillows and maybe a blanket nearby. You don't need any like fancy, yoga bolsters or blocks or anything, but just something that you can prop like your legs up on, for example, later. So just a couple household pillows and a blanket, maybe. Great. So we're going to start with a breathing exercise. So find yourself in a comfortable seated position. You can sit crisscross applesauce or in Sukhasana, easy pose with one foot in front of the other. This is one of the things that I love about yoga is it's all about intentionality, right? So outside of your yoga practice, if you just sit on the floor and somebody was like, hey, what are you doing? You'd say, I don't know, I'm sitting on the floor. But with yoga, we say, I'm sitting in easy pose, right? So we're being intentional with our body movements. We're aware of how we're moving in time and space. It's the consciousness, the mind-body connection that makes yoga so special. So just keep that in mind. Just by sitting here in a comfortable position, you're already practicing yoga. How great is that? So the breathing exercise we're going to start with is called 4-7-8 breathing. You'll inhale through your nose for a count of 4. Hold that inhale for a count of 7. And then slowly exhale through your mouth for a count of 8. So the idea is you're going to inhale pretty quick, you're going to hold, and then you're going to slowly exhale. If after a couple rounds of breath, you still can't quite figure out how to breathe in fast and breathe out slow, you can switch it up to maybe doing a breath of 2 inhale, hold for 3.5 seconds, exhale for 4. So again, especially if you have asthma and you're just finding, or bad allergies this time of year, and you're finding that it's a little bit hard to, hold for 7 and exhale for 8, switch it up. The idea again is just that you're going to hold air and then exhale much slower than you inhale. It's been shown to help with anxiety, with relaxation, lowers blood pressure. It's very simple. Again, 4-7-8 breathing. So I'll walk us through it. Again, sitting up nice and tall, drop your shoulders, lift your chest, relax your jaw. You're going to place your tongue at your palate, the space just behind the top teeth. Exhale completely and begin. Inhale through your nose for 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold the inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale through your mouth for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale through your nose. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold the oxygen in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Slowly exhale through your mouth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pause. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Slowly exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale through your nose for a count of 4. Hold the breath, savoring the inhale, the oxygen in the lungs for a count of 7. And then slowly exhale through your mouth for a count of 8. Inhale. Pause. Exhale. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Breathe in. Hold. Breathe out. Last round, going at your own pace. And whenever you're ready, just return your breath to slow and steady in and out through your nose. If at any point during class your mind starts to run away from you, or you feel, an intense emotion or physical sensation or thought, you can just return your thoughts to your breath and use your slow, steady breaths to calm and soothe the mind, the heart, and the body. So again, this is restorative yoga. We scheduled out an hour for ourselves just to relax, to breathe. If you take a nap at some point, that's great. Sometimes people refer to restorative yoga as napping yoga. We'll start with a couple of seated postures just to kind of gently stretch our body, and then we'll get more into the lying down nap yoga stuff. So again, sitting in a comfortable position, your easy pose. You can have your hands on your knees. If you are feeling curious about the world around you, you can have your palms facing up as a symbolic gesture that you're open to receiving. If you're feeling a little untethered today, you can have your palms facing down as a symbolic gesture that you are firmly rooted here in your yoga space, in your body, in the present moment. There's no right or wrong. Okay, as you inhale through your nose, stretch the crown of your head up towards the ceiling. Exhale through your nose, slowly tilt your right ear towards right shoulder, stretching the left side neck. It's worth noting that I'm not mirroring you, so it might look like I'm tilting my head to the left when in fact I'm tilting my head to the right. You are welcome to follow either my words or my body movement. Either way, just know that in general, I will do the right side first unless I forget, which certainly happens sometimes. Notice if you're starting to lean to one side, try to evenly distribute your body weight on your sit bones. So it's just the neck that's starting to stretch at the top of class. Notice if you're bringing your head forward, try to keep your neck in line with the rest of your spine. Good. Slowly roll your head down, chin to chest, and then keep going. Roll your left ear to left shoulder, stretching the right side neck. And right away, you might find that this side feels a little or a lot different. It certainly does for me. Nowhere in the ancient Vedic texts does it say that yoga is supposed to make you symmetrical. Yoga is going to help us to notice where we're tight or where our body might be incongruent. Yoga certainly helps us work through tightness in the body and maybe in the heart and mind as well. But it's very normal that even after a decade of practicing yoga, one knee might be tighter than the other, and that's okay too. We are not butterflies. We are perfectly imperfect. No matter how much yoga you do, your two eyes will never be the same shape. So of course that follows with the rest of the body too, right? One shoulder might always be a little tighter than the other. That's okay. Slowly roll your head down, chin to chest. Roll your head back up, looking straight ahead. And now start to lift your nose, lift your chin, look up towards the ceiling. If it feels good, you can let your head relax all the way back or just gently look up. It's a nice opening through the throat and gentle compression to the neck spine. Especially in a world where we have our chin to our chest a lot, especially, when we look at our phones and our work and our food and our kids, doing these subtle gestures of looking up towards the ceiling or lifting the chin can feel a little bit foreign or a little bit intense, but they're really good for your spine health. Good. Slowly roll your head back on, looking straight ahead. And this time, drop your head. Chin to chest, relax your jaw. Keep your chest lifted and your shoulders soft, so it's just the neck spine moving. It's gentle compression to the throat and extension through the spine. Still breathing in and out through the nose. Good. Slowly roll your head back up. Look straight ahead. We've moved our neck right, left, backward, and forward. Now we'll twist. Inhale, stretch up. Exhale, look over right shoulder. So just the neck spine moving at the top of class. Keep your shoulders and hips pointing forward. Evenly distribute your body weight on both sit bones, so it's just your neck moving. Inhale, lengthen through the top of the head. Exhale, look over right shoulder. Good. Slowly, carefully unwind. Take your time. And let's do the other side. Inhale, stretch up. Exhale, look over left shoulder. So when I tell you to take your time going in or out of postures, know that that might look different for you than it does for me. So I find sometimes my version of taking my time is really rushed compared to other people, or my version of taking my time is really slow compared to some other people. So there's no, timeline or right or wrong. If you want to come out a little slower or a little faster from a posture than I am, that's perfectly fine. It's, err on the side of moving a little slower than a little faster, because that's how we prevent injury. Look over your left shoulder, twist. Good, and on your own timeline, slowly take your head back to center. Good. Okay, we're gonna get the whole torso involved. You can place your right hand close beside your right thigh for a little extra stability there. And depending on the proportion of your spine and your arms to the floor, you might have your full palm on the floor. If you have a long torso like I do, just the fingertips tented either way. On your next inhale, sweep your left arm up overhead, stretching the left side body and gently compressing the right side body. Lengthen your left arm and then drop your left shoulder. Once again, notice if your head is jutting forward, try to keep your neck in line with the rest of the spine. Just a gentle stretch to the left side body. For my flexi folks, one day you can come down to your forearm. Again, if you have a long torso like I do, no amount of yoga will ever make me be able to bring my forearm down to the floor. But if you have, flexible body or maybe short torso or long arms and you want to have your forearm on the floor, you're welcome to do so. Drop the shoulders, lengthen through the crown of the head. Again, just a stretch to the left side body, gentle compression to the right side body, slowly waking up the spine. Good. As you're ready, you're going to place your left hand on the floor, sweep it around, just getting some motion in the body. Take your left hand to the outside of your left thigh, and on your next inhale, reach your right arm up overhead. Lengthen the right arm, and then drop the right shoulder. Keep your neck in line with the rest of your spine, and try to keep your right sit bone on the floor. So notice if the hip's starting to lift up, right? Try to root down through both sit bones as you breathe in and out through your nose. Good. Slowly take your right hand to the floor, sweep your right hand forward, left hand forward, drop your head, push the floor away from you. Relax your jaw, gently rounding the spine, compressing the front of the body. Notice if your shoulders are up towards the ears, bring the shoulders down away from the ears, maybe hug your elbows in slightly. Slowly walk your hands back towards your feet, and this time take your hands behind you like a second spine. I'm going to show you from the side. You're just going to stick your butt out a little bit, look up towards the ceiling, maybe move your rib cage forward, your hips back, your chin up. So extension through the front body, compression through the spine. Good. Slowly come up back to center. We're going to do a few seated cat-cows. Place your hands on your knees, palms facing down. We're just going to continue with that rounded and bent spine. So take an inhale through your nose. And on your next exhale, drop your head, round your spine. So you want to tuck your tailbone under, move your hips towards your ribs, draw your belly button towards the wall behind you. Once again, bring the shoulders down away from the ears, chin to chest. This is our cat pose. You're rounding your spine like a cat. On your next inhale, start to look forward, look up, move your hips back, open through your chest, look up towards the ceiling, and squeeze shoulders together. Bring shoulders down away from the ears. This is our cow pose. We're letting our stomach relax out. The same way that if you see a cow, right, their stomach hangs down. On your next exhale, pull your navel in, round your spine, drop your head. Think about stretching the shoulder blades apart and then drop the shoulders down away from the ears as you tuck your tailbone under, move your hips forward. Inhale, move your hips back, bring your chest forward, look up towards the ceiling, and this time squeeze shoulder blades together, but keep the shoulders down away from the ears, cow. Let's do one more round, cat pose, meow. Pull your belly in, drop your chin, relax your shoulders, press your hips forward. And cow pose, move, press your chest forward, hips back, shoulders down, look up, look back. Good, and then come back into a comfortable upright position. We're gonna end this little sequence with a spine twist, still stretching both side body. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, both at once. You're gonna place left hand on right knee and right arm close behind you like a second spine, working a little bit on coordination there. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, pull your abdomen in, look over your right shoulder and twist. Notice if you're leaning to one side, evenly distribute your body weight on both sit bones. Shoulders down, chest proud, eyes open, jaw relaxed. Inhale, stretch up. Exhale, look over right shoulder, twist. Good, slowly, carefully at your own pace, come back to center, no rush. And let's do the other side. Inhale, arms overhead, stretch up. Exhale, twist, placing right hand on left knee and left arm close behind you like a second spine. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, look over your left shoulder, twist. So the spine moves in 6 different directions, right, left, backward, forward, twisting to each side. We will do all of those multiple times. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, pull your abdomen in, look over your left shoulder and twist. Good. Slowly, gently come back to center. No rush. Take your time. Good. Drop your shoulders. Sitting up nice and tall. Okay. Our first slightly longer posture working into the lower body is going to be a child's pose. So you're going to start in tabletop with your knees and feet about hip width distance. And from here, you're going to bring your feet together, open your knees a little wider, maybe the length of your mat, the width of your mat, I should say. The length of your mat, that would be really crazy. And as you're ready, you're going to sink your hips down towards your heels and stretch your arms forward. Now we have, our blankets and pillows handy, and you can use these throughout class in ways that you see fit. So some folks like to have a little bit of a cushion between their thighs and their calves. You can put the blankets or pillows under your chest, under your head. If you have, like sensitive toes, you can roll up your mat or a towel under your toes or ankles. And if stretching the arms forward does not feel good to your shoulders, you can also bring your arms down by your side, palms facing up. So there's lots of just, I think in fairly intuitive ways that you can use pillows or blankets here. And then we're just going to hold here for 2 minutes and breathe. So we're starting to work into the lower body here, while at the same time really opening the back. So with every inhale, feel the backs of your ribs expand, the skin on your back stretch. With every exhale, just feel the ribs gently contract, keeping those shoulders and chest soft. As the hips start to sink down towards the heels, you'll feel this nice stretch through the hips. And again, a gentle stretch through the tops of the toes, ankles, shins, and knees. Sometimes in yoga, right, we push ourselves like in other, physical endeavors or sports, and we try to get the deepest stretch, or we're, working to build strength in our body or balance or flexibility or whatever that is by pushing ourselves. In this class, remember, it's restorative yoga. It's all about rest and relaxation. And we're just using yoga as a means, as a tool for rest, for relaxation. So if at any point you feel like the posture is not really in service of that,
do a little bit less, grab a pillow, a blanket. You can always take a long held savasana. Just a gentle stretch in this class, right? Again, it's really about restoring, restoring who you are on the inside, giving yourself some time just to breathe. Doesn't really matter if you get the deepest stretch to your hips or your shoulders. Let's hold here for about 30 more seconds, breathing in and out through the nose. As you're ready, you're going to look forward, walk your hands back below your shoulders, and slowly, carefully press yourself up. No rush. From here, we're going to take a counter stretch. Try to bring your knees, feet together. Interlace your fingers behind you and start to press the fingers down, opening through the chest, squeezing the shoulders together. Look up. Take a breath here. Good, and then slowly look forward, straightening out the back. You're gonna come and lie on your abdomen for our first savasana. It's a belly savasana, so you can lie on your stomach. You can bend your elbows so that your hands are close to your face. You can also have your arms down by your side. And of course, have your head on the floor. I like to look to one side, so it's a gentle stretch through the neck here. And as you released out of that long held, wide legged child's pose, you might notice some sensation. So I feel, a little bit of extra blood right now in my knees and in my toes. Sometimes when we hold a posture for a while, we cut off a little bit of circulation to one part of the body, not so much that it's like dangerous, right? But cut off a little bit of circulation so that when you release into a more neutral position, like Savasana, you get this nice rush of blood through the toes, the ankles, the knees, the hips. Sometimes the release from a posture is as therapeutic as the posture itself. So again, when we're in asanas, yoga postures, we're stretching, we're strengthening, right? But when we release out of them, it's really good just for blood flow, for circulation. And as you get an increased amount of blood to one part of the body, let's say your knees here, that can also help work through scar tissue if you have any tight joints or scar tissue on a part of your body. If you're looking to one side, gently lift your head and look to the other side. Again, it's all about intentionality. So if I were to find you lying on the floor like this outside of yoga, first of all, I might be like, are you okay? Do you need help? But second, right, I'd be like, what are you doing? And you'd be like, I don't know, I'm lying on my stomach. Versus in yoga, right, we say like, I'm taking a belly savasana. This is an intentional motion that you're doing with your body, right? And you're aware of your body. You're fostering that mind-body connection through your breath, slow and steady, in and out through your nose. Okay, when you're ready, you're going to look forward again, place your hands on the floor, and slowly press yourself back up. Wonderful. Take your time finding your way onto your seat. And we're going to start with both legs out in front of you. There's a couple different names for what we're going to do next. In yin yoga, we'd call it like a half shoelace pose. And in other styles of yoga, we might call it like a half cow face, cow leg posture. So identify your left leg, identify your right leg. You're going to keep your left leg long in front of you. Bend your right leg so that your foot is on the floor. Take a moment here. You can hug your thigh into your chest. And if you'd like, you can even grab your shoulders, sit up tall, give yourself a big hug. Good. And as you're ready, you're going to cross your right leg over your left leg.
leg. So eventually right knee will stack on top of left knee. So in shoelace pose in yin, or in cow face pose and other styles of yoga, the left knee bends. And so then you get this rotation to the hips. But in half cow face or half shoelace, we're going to get this yummy stretch to the hamstring, which is a reminder that a modification or a different version of the posture isn't necessarily better or worse, it's just different. If your right knee does not cross directly on top of your left knee, you can try placing a blanket in between the knees so it doesn't have to come down all the way. And of course, if your leg is, it's more like your calf is over your shin rather than knee over knee, that is quite normal as well. Okay, so from here, to get that hamstring stretch, you can take a moment here to just kind of roll out your sit bones. Inhale, reach your arms overhead, stretch out, getting some motion in the body. Exhale, start to fold forward. You can place your hands on the floor on either sides of your knees, your calves, your ankles. If you're feeling like really, gumby bendy, you can even catch your foot. But again, this posture is not necessarily about getting the deepest hamstring stretch you've ever had in your life. This posture is about getting a gentle stretch in service to, restoring your relaxation, restoring a little bit of sanity in your life. To this day, I don't know, especially those of you that live in DC, ironically, during the Obama administration, as you may remember, there was a rally to restore sanity in our nation's capital that was hosted by, I think, like Stephen Colbert and Jon Stewart, but it was a rally to restore sanity. And to this day, one of the biggest associations that I have with the word restorative or restore is sanity. Obviously, that was kind of both a serious and a silly event. But I think there's something to it, right? Even in our yoga practice, like yoga does help me restore my sanity on one level or another. And I wonder if, you've ever felt the same way, right? Just giving ourselves some time to breathe and just be in relationship with ourselves. We spend so much time being in relationship with other people. And yoga is this nice way where, we can be around other people, we can practice with other people in person or on Zoom or whatever that is. But at the end of the day, right, we're being in relationship with ourselves, which is so wonderful. Let's take 3 more slow breaths here. If you'd like, you can drop your head or fold forward a little more. As you're ready, you can walk your hands back in closer to your body, slowly roll yourself back up. Then take your time, uncross your foot. And then we're going to start to bring the feet a little bit wider apart for a straddling pose. Again, you can roll out your hips a little bit here. The wider you bring your legs apart, the more you'll feel the inner thigh stretch. The closer you bring your feet together, the more you'll feel a hamstring stretch. Knees can be a little or a lot bent. And if you have like a little bit or super tight hamstrings or knees, you can always place pillows or small blankets underneath your knees if that feels good. So again, just finding a position where you feel a gentle stretch in service to your restorative yoga class. And from here, you're gonna, inhale, reach your arms overhead. We're doing this. Exhale, start to fold forward. Stick your butt out a little bit. You can have your hands in between your thighs, your knees, your calves, your ankles. If you're feeling flexy, or just depending on your body proportions, maybe forearms touch the floor. Maybe not. Again, it doesn't have to be the deepest inner thigh stretch in the world. And the knees can bend just a little bit. You can also try gently flexing your toes back to your face or pointing your toes a little bit. I like to flex. Sometimes just a little bit of foot activation helps to keep the rest of the muscles in the body in place. Drop your shoulders, relax your jaw. And if it feels good, you can let your head hang heavy. Let's take 3 more slow breaths here.
As you're ready, you're going to place your hands on the floor, slowly walk your hands back in, no rush, roll yourself back up, and then bring your hands to either side of your body. Carefully bring your legs back together, still just getting some motion in the body. If you want, you can point or flex toes or roll out the ankles if that feels good. And then we'll do the other side of our half shoelace. So keep your right leg long. Start to bend your left leg, so foot on the floor. If you'd like, you can hug your thigh in towards your chest for a second. Just sit up nice and tall. Okay, and as you're ready, you're gonna lift the left leg off the floor and start to cross your left thigh on top of your right thigh. So one day, left knee stacks on top of right knee. Again, this side might feel a little or a lot different, and that's okay. You're always welcome to place a blanket in between your knees. The leg is a little bit crossed further down the leg, that's okay too. It's more than okay. Inhale, reach your arms overhead, just starting to get some motion in the upper body. Exhale, fold forward. Again, you can have your hands besides your thighs, your knees, your calf, your ankle, have forearms on the floor. And just a gentle stretch to the right hamstring, gentle waking up of the hips. Never a point of pain. Just a nice stretch as you breathe in and out through your nose. I should also mention, in some styles of yoga, we want to keep our eyes open the whole time so that we're like fully aware and alert in the present moment. But in this style of yoga, if you ever want to close your eyes, you are welcome to, take that space in your mind, in your life. And not necessarily in this posture, because it would be kind of hard to fall asleep in this posture, but in other postures, if you happen to doze off, that is perfectly fine. I once told a friend and fellow yoga teacher, I might take a nap in this class. And I remember he said, Holly, that would be my highest honor. I still laugh about that. It would be my highest honor too. Sometimes we just need a nap. Let's take 3 more slow breaths here. If you want, you can fold forward a little bit more. As you're ready, slowly walk your hands back in, slowly roll your head back up. Take your time, slowly uncross the left leg. If you want, you can bend both legs, so both feet on the floor. Inhale your arms out to the side. Exhale, give yourself a big hug, maybe grab elbows or hands, just squeezing, sit up nice and tall. Shoulders down, chest proud. Good, release that hug, take your arms behind you, lean back. I'm going to show you from the side. You can have your fingers pointing towards you or away from you. Either way, you get this nice wrist stretch. And we're just going to windshield wiper the knees here. So just rolling the knees back and forth, side to side. Great, and then coming back to the center, slowly lie down on your back for Savasana or cuddle pose, whichever you'd like to call it. And have your arms and legs down. If lying on your back with your legs long is uncomfortable to your lower back, that's really normal. You're welcome to place a small blanket under your lower lumbar spine or bend your legs so that your feet are on the floor, and this will help the lower back drop. So in that little sequence we just did, we worked the inner thighs and the hamstrings. We got some motion into our hips as well. And now we're just lying on our back in a neutral position, letting everything sort of stretch out and realign. Okay, getting into the more restorative nap-like postures. Um, you might want to sit up for a moment just to grab your pillows and blankets. And if you remember the early 2000s trend build a bear, where you would build a bear at a mall, this is like build a yoga pose, right? You're going to take as many blankets or pillows as you want. There's no right or wrong answer, but the idea here is that we are going to place some blankets, pillows, props underneath our knees so that we have just a nice supported moment here. The legs are going to be a little bit higher, and then you're just going to make your way onto your back. So the idea is your legs are a little bit higher than your head, just bringing some blood flow down. I'm actually going to grab another pillow. And if you, like me, have to get up at any point to grab more props, especially if you have low blood pressure naturally, make sure that you're getting up slowly so that you don't get dizzy. Okay. So again, the legs are a little bit elevated here. This is good for reducing blood pressure, stress, all that fun stuff. And then, if you want it to be extra luxurious, you can take a blanket and place it over you so that you're warm. And we're just going to hold here for 3 minutes, just relaxing, breathing. At any point you get uncomfortable, remember that you can kind of maneuver or grab extra pillows or blankets. You could also place a blanket or pillow under your head if that feels good. And then you'll just settle back into your stillness, your breath, your rest, and relaxation. Yoga pose to restore sanity. So many of us think that we have to earn rest, and that we have to work really hard to be deserving of rest. I actually think that we all are inherently worthy of rest and deserve rest just as like humans, right? I after college, well, and during college, I briefly worked with an organization that would like set up soccer fields in underserved areas. And there's this whole area of like sports nonprofits. It's called Right to Play. So the whole idea that, kids or adults or whoever have a right to play, right? Right to play soccer, right to play basketball, whatever that is. We all have a right to play. And I think that really informed my yoga as well, that we all have a right to rest. And so again, this yoga posture is not like the most active posture of all time, but what a wonderful way to force yourself to slow down, especially if you're someone who has trouble taking breaks or just giving yourself some rest, right? You scheduled it in today. Now you just get to enjoy as you breathe slowly in and out through your nose. Notice where your mind travels in moments of stillness and silence. And if it's creeping towards, negative self-talk or something not pertaining to the present moment, maybe you're just thinking about something that's just not helpful or serving you right now. This is an opportunity just to practice coming back into your breath, back into your body, back into this moment as you lie on your back and breathe through your nose. Let's hold here for 3 more breaths. So there's no one right way to remove pillows from underneath your legs. Depending on how you want to go about this, obviously you can just kind of like kick them to the side. You can also prop yourself back up and remove them with your hands. I'm just going to politely press them to the side. Okay, and then lying back down, Savasana. You can keep a blanket over you if that feels good. Now the legs return to the floor and we just get a little bit more circulation back towards the feet. So lying with elevated legs, whether you have your legs up the wall or just on a few cushions, again, is really good for relaxation. It's good for high blood pressure. Anytime you're just feeling a little untethered or nervous or anxious, having your legs elevated will help to drop the heart rate and ease any sense of worry. And then coming out of that helps with circulation back to the lower body. And you might feel your spine adjust a little as well too. We propped up our legs. Next, we're gonna prop up our torso, our spine. So slowly press yourself up, make your way to a seated position. And I'm gonna remove this blanket so you can see me. Same thing here, we're gonna play around with placing some pillows underneath our spine. Every body is different, every pillow is different. So depending on what you're working with, I recommend placing a few pillows just at the small of your back so the pillows are butting up against your butt. And then maybe having one pillow for underneath your head so that your neck isn't dropped all the way back. And from here, and you can keep your blanket nearby if you want an extra luxurious moment. From here, you're just going to take your time, make sure that your butt is still on the floor. So I'm going to wiggle back a little bit. You just take a moment to find what works for you. The more pillows under your back, the more of an arch you'll get, the deeper the bend, the deeper the opening to the chest. Sometimes just one pillow or a little blanket under your lower back is enough, especially if you're feeling tight. Okay, and again, from here, if you'd like to keep you warm, you can place a blanket over you. You can have your arms down by your side or out to the side for a really nice chest opener. Make sure that your head is supported so that you're not just letting your neck hang totally off. Adjust as you need to. And we're just going to make our way into some stillness for 4 minutes. So there's so many postures in yoga, and there's so many different styles of yoga. This is a back bending posture. We're stretching through the chest, through the solar plex, the abdomen, the hips. We're also gently compressing the spine. In some styles of yoga, or just some yoga postures, back bends are quite intense, right? Like a camel pose or a bow pose where you're connecting your feet to your hands. Those are deep heart openers. They're active postures, right? You probably want to keep your eyes open for them. But in this one, we're still getting a back bend. We're still getting a heart opener. And it's really relaxing, right? So sometimes we think, well, if I'm not doing a really active yoga posture, then like, what's the point? Or I'm not getting a benefit. This posture reminds me just a little bit goes a long way, right? And sometimes if we hold a more gentle posture for a little bit longer, we actually get more sustainable results than if we go super deep into a posture but only hold it for 20 seconds, right? That can be a nice like chiropractic adjustment almost. Like sometimes I'll feel my back pop in those postures, But this is a nice gentle way to slowly stretch through the fascia on the chest, to get a nice little healthy back bend, all in service of rest, of relaxation, of restoring whatever it is in your life that could use a little restoration. Breathing in and breathing out. Notice where your mind is traveling as you settle into stillness. If you find that where your mind is going is not really serving you, and yoga is just a wonderful opportunity to practice being kind to yourself, being gentle with yourself, soothing the body with the breath, soothing the mind with the breath. Take a slow inhale through your nose. If you want, you can open your mouth and sigh it all out. Anything you want to let go of. These back bends can help release emotions. At the end of the back bend, if you want to exhale through your mouth, it will just help to get anything out that you just want to get out. Again, there's no one right or wrong way to get out of this posture. Perhaps the safest, I'm going to take my blanket off of me so you can see me. The safest way would be to keep your head on the pillow, bend your legs so that your feet are on the floor, squeeze your butt, lift your hips, and then maybe remove one pillow, let your hips drop, squeeze your butt, lift your hips, remove the other pillow, let your head drop, your hips drop. If you'd like, you can keep your head under a pillow, or you can take the pillow out from under your head as well, depending on what feels right for you. You can roll out your sit bones and then just coming back into your savasana, your puddle pose, lying down. And as these back bends can kind of release some emotion in the body, you might feel physical sensations when you release out of the posture, but know that it's also normal to feel emotional sensations, right? They're called feelings for a reason. You feel them. Or you might notice like a shift in temperature, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be like you're noticing a muscle changing or a joint. It can be a shift in temperature, shift in your breath, shift in your mood, maybe tightness, maybe feeling a little bit more loose. There's no right or wrong. It's really just more about being curious about your own experience and your own body. Okay, bend your legs so that your feet are on the floor if they're not there already. Um, let's see, you can keep the pillow under your head or you can remove it and just let your head drop to the floor. We're gonna roll off to one side. So I'm gonna face you, knees bent, feet stacked on top of each other, knees stacked on top of each other. So right shoulder on top of left shoulder, right hip on top of left hip. And from here, we're gonna place a pillow in between our knees. So that way the hips are kind of even. I always sleep like this, actually. I don't know about you guys, but I like to sleep with a pillow in between my knees. And from here, we're gonna do a little spine twist. So as you're ready, take your right arm up towards the ceiling and then start to bring it back behind you. So right shoulder on the floor, you can bring your left arm out to the side, left shoulder on the floor. I'm just doing a spine twist and a heart opener here. You can keep your head on the floor or look to the right side of the room, right ear towards the floor for a full twist. These twisting postures are good for resetting your back, and they're also good for digestion. I think a lot of times, with back health, spine health, we focus a lot on, back bends, forward folds, maybe, stretching to one side, right? The right, the left, the backward, the forward. To me, spine twists are like the unsung hero of back health. So especially if you sit at a desk all day, you've probably figured out by now that it feels good to like stand up every hour, put your hands on your back and do a back bend. But spine twists are also really good for kind of resetting your back. So make sure you're doing those as well. It doesn't have to be, fancy like we're doing here, but just a little twist in your chair. Let's hold here for 3 more breaths. Okay, if you're looking to your right, gently roll your head back to center. You're going to take your time rolling back onto your left side. Take the pillow out from between your legs, you can set it to the side, and then slowly roll back onto your back, arms and legs down, taking a moment here to reset, shoulders, hips down, let your hands and feet be heavy. And then let's do the other side. Bend your legs so your feet are on the floor. You're gonna roll off to the right this time. You're gonna place a pillow in between your knees. Take your left arm up towards the ceiling and then start to bring the left arm back. So left shoulder on the floor. You can take your right arm out to the side, right shoulder on the floor. You can keep your head on the floor or look to your left. And we're gonna hold here and breathe. Towards the end of class, notice what you might still be holding on to. Could be some tension you're holding in your body. Could also be like something that happened earlier today that stuck with you. And anything that's not serving you right now, just make the conscious decision just to practice letting it go. You don't have to let it go forever, but just for now, just for yoga class, just make the conscious decision to set aside that worry or that memory, to breathe out the tension in the body. Just allow yourself to be a little bit more restful. Breathing in and emptying out for 3 more breaths. If you're looking to your left, gently roll your head back to center. We're going to roll back to the right hand side, left shoulder on top of right shoulder, left leg on top of right leg. Remove the pillow from between your legs and slowly roll back onto your spine, taking a moment here. Last active posture of the day, we're going to do a supine butterfly with the assist of some pillows. So place pillows by either sides of your legs. We'll get to them in a second. From here, bend your legs again so that your feet are on the floor, knees rest side by side, and start to let your knees drop out to the side so that your feet come together. You can place these pillows underneath your knees, thighs. So, sometimes we might, encourage the knees to drop all the way down for a deeper stretch. But for this posture, we just want a gentle opening to the hips. So you're welcome to place, multiple pillows underneath your knees or just one, depending on how propped up you want to be. Have your arms down by your side. And again, if you're feeling, curious and open to the world right now, you can have your palms facing up as a symbolic gesture that you're open to receiving. If you're feeling a little untethered, you can have your palms facing down as a symbolic gesture that you are very much rooted in reality, very much rooted in the floor, in your body, in the present moment. Relax from the crown of your head all the way down to your toes. Maybe softening through the pelvic floor, the inner and outer thighs, the hips, the glutes. This is a nice hip opener, but again, it doesn't have to be the deepest version of this posture that you've ever done. Just a gentle, supported, restorative stretch. Holding here for 3 breaths. I'm going to place my hands on my outer thighs for extra help. Slowly bring your knees back together, feet to the floor. And this, building on the Build-A-Bear theme, build a final Savasana, right? You can place a pillow under your legs, under your head, whatever feels good for you. You can place a blanket over you again. Just building a final Savasana that feels right for you in this moment. One of the great things about yoga is it does, you can do this again another day and do it differently. So it doesn't have to be like the most perfect Savasana of all time. It's just what works for you right now. And you're going to find your way into your final Savasana. Sometimes, if I do a meditation where they're like, pick your favorite beach, I get really stressed out about well, wait, am I making the right decision of which beach I'm picturing in my mind? And then I'm like, you could do this meditation again and pick a different beach, right? Same thing with Savasana or with finding a shape in a yoga pose. There's no one right answer. So you can always, do a similar class again and just do slightly different shapes of your body. So just without thinking too much about it, finding your final Savasana. And just noticing where you still might be carrying some tension. If you'd like, you can sigh it out with an open mouth. Anything you'd like to let go of. Doesn't have to be forever. But even if it might feel good to set it aside for a minute or a breath or two, this is an invitation just to let it go. Breathing in, emptying out, and all is coming. Stay in final Savasana as long as you'd like. You can also take a little nap here. When it is time to get up, do it slowly on your own time. There's no rush. And enjoy the rest of your evening, friends. It's great to see you all.